Good afternoon and welcome to Paranormal Crossings Into the Light. I'm Aaron Collins.
I'm James, and glad to have you back, partner.
Well, thank you. It's good to be back. It's been, a month,
A month.
hasn't it?
Absolutely.
It's been a while. So
And speaking of that, we are without the other.
we
Third.
are, unfortunately, Darrin is not feeling well today,
Nope.
which is unusual. One thing I have to say is I really appreciate you guys being here and taking over for me while I was gone. I was out ill for a month, but I was actually ill. For those of you that don't know, for 7 months. I was taken to the hospital on September 9th, and then I was actually, I say released, but it sounds like I was in prison or something. It kind of felt like it because of COVID. I was. I didn't have COVID, but I, not to get too personal, I had renal failure and was severely dehydrated. And if you want to know more, I'll be more than happy to tell you. Just private message me, and I'll be more than happy to tell you a little bit more about what happened. But it's because of God that I'm here, and that I was only there for 5 days. Other people that had been in my situation or is in my situation, they did not leave in 5 days. And in all actuality, medically, I shouldn't have left in 5 days. I shouldn't even be here right now. Either I should have died or I should still be in the hospital. In fact, the two doctors I had, one is a kidney doctor. On the third day being there, they told me that my kidney functioning numbers had drastically jumped from here, which was 9 point something. If anybody knows anything about kidneys and kidney level functioning numbers, down to here in one day, which was drastic. And the doctor said, I've never seen anything like this. I can't explain it. And I just looked at him and I said, I can. And he just looked at me and I said, it's God. Plain and simple. Now, you all know me, and it's on my Facebook, and I'm not shy about it. I'm a Christian minister. I've been in ministry for many years, and it's God. I prayed about it. God's healing me, still healing me. Excuse me. And 3 hours later, the medical doctor that was assigned to me in the hospital, and I've told you my testimony, but the medical doctor, 3 hours later, said, when you came into the hospital, you were at renal failure and severely dehydrated. You almost didn't make it. And you were also at the point of either having a kidney transplant or not just transplant, but dialysis. And again, you almost didn't make it. Now, third day, your numbers are here, but yesterday your numbers were here, which was 9 point something. It was horrible. I can't explain it. And I said, I can. And he just looked at me. The nurses were there and they were looking at me, and I said, it's God. Plain and simple. So each day I was there up until the fifth day, the doctor kept coming back and saying, unbelievable, your numbers, they just keep dropping, which dropping means getting better in kidney terms, kidney functioning terms. And it was unbelievable. But I didn't waver from what I was saying. And so each time he said, I just can't believe your numbers. They're better today than yesterday. I can't explain it. And I said, what? I can. It's what? God. Thank you. Every day. And on the fourth day, the doctor said, this is unbelievable. This is in the evening on the fourth day. And he said, I can't explain it, but I think that depending on your numbers tomorrow morning, I'm going to release you to go home. And I just said, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So, of course, I called my wife. She's all excited. This is the first time in the 7 years we've been married that we've been apart this long. And so to kind of overcome that, we did video chats over the phone, which really helped. It's not the same, but excuse me, but it helped quite a bit. And so that's what we ended up doing. And it really helped. But on the fifth day, I was released and I could not wait to go home. And what's funny is I asked the nurse, I said, who was amazing. Her name is Caitlin. I don't know her last name, but she was the last nurse that was assigned to help me. And again, she was amazing. Her husband is a fire chief. I'm not going to say where, but not Portland, but somewhere else. And but she was just absolutely amazing. And I asked her. I said, "So how does this work when I get released?" I was under the impression that everyone that gets released from the hospital has to ride in a wheelchair or be wheelchaired out.
Right.
And she said, "Well, no." She said, "Do you feel like you can walk?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I can walk. I can walk out." And she said, "Then you can walk." And I said, "Okay." So not only was I healed enough within 5 days, which doesn't happen, the doctors, like I said, they were just amazed. They don't medically can't explain how I healed so fast. Healed, number one, but second, healed that fast, but walked out of the hospital 5 days later after being told that I was in renal failure and severely dehydrated. But I walked out of that hospital. I left before Christina got there. I just said I was already released to go home. So I told the nurse, I said, "Well, why don't I just leave now and wait for her out front?" I said, "I'll be fine. I know she's on her way." She told me, so because she called. And anyways, so the nurse said, "Okay, let's go." So I walked out and sat out front and waited until my wife got there. So it was just like, woohoo, But the only way I can explain it is God. God healed me. He's continuously healing me every day. I'm not 100% yet, but I will be. And why? Because God is healing me. So, all right, that's my testimony. That's what happened. And like I said, if anybody wants to know anything else, feel free to private message me on Facebook, and I'll tell you. If anybody wants to know anything else here during the show, then feel free to message us, and we'll do our best to get back to you during the show, or even after the show. Feel free to private message me, Aaron Collins, or James Mitchell, and we will get back to you. We have a special guest today. She is considered family to us and has been for a very long time. She's part of Northwest Paranormal Investigative Team, which is the team that I founded 20 some odd years ago. I know, I can't believe it's that long. And her daughter has also been part of our team, still is, will always be part of our team, Heather, aka Boo. And so she's here with us today, but she's not on camera. But maybe someday we'll have her come on. But she's here for support. But anyway, so please welcome to our show. Oh, I almost
Ooh, there you did it.
Yeah. All right, let's swing the cameras over. Surprise! No, please welcome Wendy Stanton Phillips
Hello.
to the show. Hello. Hi, hear the crowd.
Welcome.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, we've been wanting to have you on for quite a while, but of course, with everything, your schedule, which you're hecka busy.
I try.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yes.
That's always good. But I'm so glad you're here. We're so glad you're here. And so I'm just glad it finally worked out. So
Yep.
thanks for being here. So tell us what's been going on with you, and then we'll get into the meat and gravy and potatoes and all that good stuff.
Oh my goodness, COVID is just,
I know.
it hasn't been a lot of fun in our fun little realm, If we're
No.
able to help people, we have to do it over the phone or
Yes.
however. And
Remotely and all that.
I think we've done one in person in the last year.
Yeah.
And that just makes it hard because I'm more hands-on in person.
Right.
So it's like, okay, hey, here you go. June,
Yeah.
this is yours.
Right.
So,
Yeah, you and June have been working together for a very long time.
5.5, 6 years.
Wow. And you have, well, tell us about, well, so you're busy working because you have a regular job like everybody else.
Commercial insurance agent.
Oh my gosh. How's that?
It's
Well,
fun.
you don't look like me as far as you're not bald, so that's
How
a
do you
plus. Well, it could be a wig.
There you go.
Well done. Well done. Maybe I need to go that route with the wig. I don't know. I'd look funny in a wig after I've been bald since 1997. I've been, because of a bad haircut. I told the lady, I said I had been working hard. And
Wow.
all week, I
This
kid
already
you not.
derailed.
I kid you not, been working hard all week and partying hard all week.
Well,
1997, right?
Heck yeah.
And I told the lady, I said, I want it to stand up when it's wet, not dry, right? I fell asleep in the chair. And finally I hear, sir, sir, sir. I'm like, what? And she said, okay, I'm done. My hair was dry as cotton. I kid you not. And it was standing straight up like a porcupine. What did I say to you, lady? I said, I want it standing up when it's wet, not dry, like with gel, right? Oh no, standing straight up like a porcupine, dry as a cotton ball. And I was so upset. I had a full beard at the time. I've always had facial hair because I look like a little baby, and I have a butt chin. I do. My middle son Noah inherited that from me, a butt chin. So can I say that? Yeah, I can say that.
See that you already did.
I know.
How about reeling it back in? Get
Oh
back
my
to our
gosh.
guests, my friend.
We will. So we're talking about hair, which is why this has led to me being bald, and why you wear a wig. So, and why I don't, because I would look ridiculous after, how many years from 97 to now? I don't do math that well. How many?
24?
24 years. That's quick. Hey, see, I can't do math like that.
Well, it's 2 years
Where's my
before
calculator?
her.
Well, that explains it. Holy crud. Wow. All right. So yeah, so I went home, had a full beard, and I was using my beard trimmer, and I just kept going. And that was it. From that point on, never let my hair grow back again. So, all right, back to you, Wendy. So, that's my
Yes.
story, and I'm sticking to
There
it.
you go.
And that place is still there. I'm not going to tell you where it is because I'm sure she doesn't work there anymore either.
Oh, I wouldn't go.
Oh no, it's a national chain, so it was.
I sure wouldn't go.
I would go back if I had hair. Anyways,
They could wax you.
although I get the best haircut at home in the shower. I bick it. Anyways, so commercial insurance, what is that like? Now, did you do like residential and car insurance before? Have you always
Yes.
done
I did specialty auto.
specialty? What does that entail?
You're a terrible driver and you need an SR22.
Okay, I know people like that. Okay,
I've been people like that.
okay,
Yeah.
all right.
So now what's the other stuff?
Well, and it helps that you've been there before because you can sympathize and yeah.
Exactly. It
So-
helped me be a little bit better at it. But now I'm in a different realm,
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
you know.
So commercial being businesses.
Oh, yeah.
So we're talking huge.
Some of them,
huge.
yes. I
Do you
mean,
get? I mean, is that kind of business? Is that hourly or is that commission or both?
It's
or-
hourly.
Hourly. Well,
Mhm.
that's not that bad, I
No,
guess.
I'm not going to complain, and I work for a great place.
Well, that's important.
Yep.
And you like what you do.
I work for a great place.
All right.
She
All right.
she likes it on a Friday at 5:00 when she has to leave for the weekend.
Which is my
Right.
house.
Right.
I work from home.
Well, you
so-
work from home. Do you enjoy working from
Oh,
home?
yeah. I can get so much more done.
Oh, I'm sure. And you don't even have to get dressed to go to work.
But I
That's
do.
a plus.
No,
Do you really?
I do.
That's important, I think, for your psyche. You know?
Exactly. Or you're sitting there a mess, and I'm
In,
just,
in your
I'm not going there.
PJs.
Exactly.
Like I know people who work from home. We know somebody that works from home, and which I'm not going to mention on air, but he's been working from home forever, and he loves it. But I don't know if I have the discipline to do that.
No,
I mean, I would
wouldn't.
have to, getting paid to do my job, of course, but that would be hard. Did you find it hard to transition from working at
Nope.
a job?
I do the
Well,
same thing
there's
at
no
home that I do
commute.
there.
No commute.
I don't
Yeah.
remember to get up out of my chair. I just start doing my thing,
Mm,
you know. So it's like, okay, you got to move.
right.
Because,
And do you
yeah,
stop at a certain time, like 5:00 done, or do you
I
have
usually
problems
do
with that?
7 to 4. Yeah,
Ah.
I have big problems with that.
Yeah. What about your husband? Does Tim like stop? You were
He
done.
will. He will. I'm like, I'm in the middle of a project. I can't quit. You know, I got to finish this up.
Well, you can at quitting time.
No.
If you were still going to the office, would you still stay
Yeah.
there? Would you get paid for overtime?
Pretty much.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Because
Okay,
I got to
well,
take care of a customer. If I'm in the middle of something, I got to finish it up.
That's pretty loyal. That's good. Yeah.
Well, I know. See, Heidi works from home too, and I was on my way home from work yesterday. She said she was on a really long, difficult phone call,
And they can
And-
be.
and it was she got done about 5:30 somewhere in there. She's usually done by 4,
Wow.
something like that.
Yeah.
So
Or there's a day you only deal with one person, and it's all day.
Wow.
I had one person for 2 days. It was a production company, and it was
Tough.
yeah.
Were they
Because
tough or just the policy
no, the
itself?
situation was tough because they were heading to California to do some filming, and they needed certificates of insurance and all these different things that had to be put in place before they could even film. And I had to get all those lined up, and yeah.
So if, let's say I owned a production company,
Mhm.
or just any type of company, I can come to you personally and say, even though I know you, and
Yep.
say, we need
And then I would
policies
set you up
for,
with one of the agents that does the writing.
uh-huh.
So
But how does it get to you? Like, what do you do?
I am a hybrid. I'm part account manager, part tech, handle different things. I don't
Wow.
write them.
You're not the underwriter,
No, that would
or,
be with like one of the companies. The agency just puts the information in,
huh,
and we get it back from the underwriters and carriers.
nice.
Mm.
Okay. Interesting.
Oh yeah.
To me, because I don't know that, I don't know the business. I just know I have car insurance and I have
Home
because
insurance.
home insurance, and our insurance agent is actually our neighbor, and she had a switch because she's like. When we first met her, actually, when we first moved there, she said, well, she asked, who do we go through? Just out of conversation. And I said, oh, we go through blah, blah, blah. And she said, well, how much, if you don't mind me asking, how much do you pay? And I told her, and she's like, what? She said, I can get you vehicle insurance and home insurance for a lot cheaper, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
But let me run the numbers. And I said, please. Holy moly. Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot cheaper. So we immediately went through her. I mean, we finished our obligation with the other place, first. But yeah, we've been with her for a year now
Nice.
and saved us so much money than the other
Awesome.
company. So much that now my sister's going to her. Yeah.
There you
For
go.
homeowners for the condo,
Yeah.
which was my parents, my late parents now. But yeah, and her vehicle insurance. So, I mean, yeah. Anyway, so I know that part of it, but I know nothing about commercial.
Oh, it's
Totally
an
different
animal
ballgame.
of a yeah.
Yeah.
You want to
Wow.
go nuts? That's
Yeah.
where you go.
So
The paranormal world's much easier to me.
well, and see, and that's what, if we could get paid to not provide services for clients, but somehow get paid to be in the paranormal field. Some people, obviously, you've done classes at the Oregon Ghost Conference. I've done classes at the Oregon Ghost Conference and have gotten paid, not very much, but I've gotten paid to do it. And even the little bit I've gotten paid, I felt guilty.
Yeah, because you love it.
Because it's a passion. I
Yep.
mean, doing what we do, like what we're doing now, this is a passion. I love interviewing people. I love doing the podcast, the video podcast. I love doing that because, doing Paranormal Crossings before at the TV studio,
Yep.
I love doing that. It was different because we had, staff of 10 people,
Yep.
you remember how big that studio was.
Yep.
So this is more intimate. I like it. We have Andrew, who's behind the scenes, and he's amazing, and so before we had, like I said, 10 people, it was much different.
Yep.
So, but I like this intimate setting, it's just on a totally different level that I like, that I'm comfortable with. Not that I'm not comfortable with before, but this is better for me.
Exactly.
And so, yeah. And now I've got James and I've got Darrin, and wonderful guests. So tell us about, we know about NW Paranormal, but tell us how you and June started Ghosts and Girls Paranormal. How did that come about?
Well, from what I can recall, we kept getting requested to go deal with negative things that the rest of the group may not have been comfortable with. And
with us,
yeah.
with NW.
Yeah.
It's not
Didn't
that
want
we
to
weren't
drag you around.
Well, no, it wasn't so much that. I mean, I know I asked you the question, but just to back up for a second, I remember June contacted me and saying, how do you feel about us doing this? Because she was getting so many requests, because she was doing, I think because she did Clyde's show with me. And once she did that, the first show, it blew up.
Yeah.
And so I said, yeah, I'm all for, like James said, he wanted to, his dream was to have his own team. He and Heidi were also part of NW Paranormal. They'll always be part of it. I don't care if they have their own team or not. They'll always be part. We're all a family. And so, but I'm all for people pursuing their dreams and for stepping out and doing their own thing. That's, if it's better for them, why would I say no or go against that? I would never. So I was like, do it. And I have a hat, just like his, the Guardian Angel Paranormal Society. And I love it. I wear that. And because Darrin is not here today, I don't think we mentioned that, because he's not feeling well. And while I wasn't feeling well, they put an NW Paranormal Investigative Team t-shirt and hat on the table for me while I wasn't here to represent me. So today I brought,
it only felt right.
Like I said to you guys off air, it brought me to tears watching that at home, and it really did. It really touched my heart. So today, Darrin, for you, buddy, because you're not able to make it, not feeling well, we brought DBK to represent you and your team. So you're here with us in spirit, buddy. So, and hat. So anyway, so yeah, when he mentioned wanting to do his own team, I'm like, yeah, do it. You know, I'm proud of everybody. And same thing with you guys in Ghost and Girl. So how did it happen with you guys? Same thing.
It just happened. And then we're like, well, maybe we should do this kind of officially, you know, but we also wanted to make sure everything was going to be cool with, you know, everybody else. So
sure.
Yeah, didn't want to burn any bridges, anything like that.
No.
Oh, never.
Go into it.
Yeah, because you know you don't want to mess with your family.
No,
and you know, and I get it out of respect, and but we're all family, and if we weren't a family, then I was a jerk, I would have said no, but that's not me, and you guys know that. All you guys,
I would have done it anyway.
Screw you, man.
Well, we'd have been doing it too, you know. So
no, I would totally expect.
We were so busy for the longest time, constantly.
I remember that.
I mean, I had a go bag sitting there, constant.
Yeah. What year did you guys start? Was it 18 or 17?
No, it was before that. I can't remember. 16.
It was that long ago. Gosh, where's
somewhere
the time
in there,
gone?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This pandemic has really screwed with my memory.
Well, yeah, you're stuck at home all the time, and you're like, I don't even know what day it is.
So since the pandemic, you guys have had to turn. I know June has done a lot remotely. You've done a lot remotely or over the phone. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So I'm sure I know I've had to turn down a lot of people through email, because I've gotten tons of emails in the beginning when COVID first hit.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm sorry, we just can't, due to the pandemic, we just can't subject ourselves to it. And then I don't know about you guys, but I was vaccinated. Well, Christina and I both, the beginning of this year. And so, yeah, anyway. So we've just had to turn people down. I feel bad, but at the same time, we got to protect ourselves. We're both immune compromised. So,
yeah, I think the last time we went on one was almost a year ago, and it felt so good to go do it.
Oh yeah.
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 So.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time I did one in person. You know, so June was on our show, and I did not expect her to talk about this publicly, but the one that you and I went with her. And the woman who was possessed, and at the same time, we saw Jesus and Satan.
Yep,
and I didn't. Again, this is something that was private and personal to you and I. We've talked about it since, and it's something I have talked to certain people in my life that I'm close to and trust. But it's not something I expected her to talk about publicly, and mainly. For me, and I want you to chime in here in a second, but it's not something that I wanted people to really ridicule me about and say, yeah, right, you know, BS. I don't believe that. But I don't care what people believe anymore. Nope. I just don't. If you believe it, great. If you don't, great. Nope. I was there. You were there. June was there. We know what we saw. Yep. You and I know what we saw.
Yeah.
She's the one that invited them. And when she invited Satan, and I told her on the show, I thought you were fucking nuts. I'm serious, and excuse my mouth, but I thought you were fucking nuts. And that's what I said to her, you know, and here's a minister using the F word, but I'm sorry, but that's what I thought. That's what I felt. And because you just had Jesus here, whose arm was extended to this demon, you know, for redemption.
And then you're calling.
I'm thinking, if you don't take it, I'm going to. I mean, This is Jesus, right? And so... And then all of a sudden she's calling Satan. I'm like, I look at you and I'm like, do we
and
leave?
I felt him.
Do we run?
No, we just back up and let him have his way.
Well, I'm thinking, do we tackle her? Has she lost her ever-loving mind?
Nope, she knew what she was doing.
What is going? But then I trust June. I would trust her with my life, my kids' lives, my grandkids' lives. And you have to,
Mhm.
because it's June. I mean, she has never done me wrong or my
Nope.
family,
Nope.
nor you. And so I would
No.
trust you with my life. Just let's get that out there.
Mhm.
So that's the kind of family, same as you. I mean, that's the kind of trust we have. And so, anyway, so Satan walks in, and for me,
It
he
sounds like you're
appears.
starting a bad joke.
I know. First, there's Jesus.
Then
Jesus
come
walks
back.
in, and then in comes Satan. And so, and he's standing. How he appeared to me was he was at the end of that hall, in between the two bedrooms,
Yep.
and he was wearing all black, a black fedora, black suit, but his face was blacked
And
out.
see, what I saw was probably about 8 feet tall, black, very muscular. There were horns. There were large wings
See, and
behind
that's
him.
not how he portrayed himself
Yep.
to me. It's so interesting. So tell me.
Yep.
Yeah, continue.
I mean, it was like
please.
there was no ceiling almost. He was that massive, and I just backed up, and he's looking at me, and I'm seeing this coming from. I'm like, okay, just okay, let them do their thing, but he was big.
Wow. See, and I just saw him as average height. I did not see a complete face. It was just he was all blacked out. I think he portrayed himself to us differently based on us for whatever reason. I don't know why,
Yeah.
but I know I wasn't scared because Jesus was still there.
Exactly. I'm like,
And I'm like,
dude's
what
right
better?
here. I'm good.
I know. I'm like, the man, our Lord and Savior, is right there. So I know
Yep.
nothing's going to happen to
Exactly.
us, you know?
Yeah.
And so, because I know that we have each other's back, but the ultimate
Had us.
has
Yep.
us. So nothing bad's going to happen to us. So then what happened for you? What did you notice?
I
or
just
what did
stepped
you
back because I knew
observe?
he was coming,
Mm.
and I just made eye contact with you, and I just still tried to concentrate on this poor woman that was going through all this
Yeah.
crap. Because if your brain starts wandering, you're going to get scrooged.
Oh, yeah.
You have to concentrate, not let outside thoughts come in.
Yeah.
Because she needed us. She didn't need me to go, oh,
Absolutely.
oops, sorry.
Yeah.
You sit there with the holy water and go. So, I was trying to concentrate on her, and I knew June was doing her thing, and just tried to keep eye contact with this poor woman.
Yeah.
And to watch the black eyes come and go, to sit there in front of her and grab her hands and see this thing and hear it, it's like, it's almost overwhelming if you think about it, and you can't think about it until you're done.
Oh, yeah. I was trying so hard not to think about what was happening. And then once Satan was gone and Jesus was gone, it was back to the three of us.
Yep.
And June, who has Ariel with her inside her, had taken over, and then it was you and I as the Christian prayer warriors, and which is why we were there, and we were her backup, know. And so I just remember how strong we were. And we weren't humans anymore. I mean, we were prayer warriors. It's like God said, we want you there, or I want you there for a reason. You guys are a team. And so I wasn't me and you weren't you anymore. It's like, I can't describe it. It was just crazy. And the whole time it took, what, 3.5 hours?
Yeah,
I think we were there.
Yeah.
It was nothing like I'd ever seen on TV. And let me just say, I am not an exorcist.
No.
First and foremost, I do not claim to be an exorcist. Nope. I've never taken any classes on exorcism. I'm not ordained by the Catholic Church in any way. But June asked for our help, and we don't say no. And God, more importantly, said, I want you there.
I have something I need you to do.
Exactly.
And it's one of those things people go, how do you explain it? And it's like, I don't always have an answer. And I had somebody one time say, because human beings sometimes need another human being, something they can hold on to.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a really good way to look at it, because he could do it just like that.
Oh, yeah.
He
Absolutely.
Need us.
Oh, yeah. Which is why, I love doing what I do. And I love going with you in June, because they often ask for an ordained minister. And so, which I am. And so, and it brings them comfort.
Yes.
Because they like the human aspect, because I can touch the person, a minister. I'm tangible.
Exactly.
And so God isn't always tangible. Like, he's always with us, obviously, those of us that believe and have had experience with God. And so, but being a human and being a minister, they want to see that. They want that comfort. So, and that's why I like to come along with you guys, for that reason, because I can comfort that person or that family and reassure them God's with you. I'm here. I can help you as much as I possibly can.
Yep.
Let June and Wendy do what they do. I'm also a paranormal investigator, so I
Yep.
can assist in that way too. And then at the end, we'll pray together, or in the beginning, or
Both.
both,
Exactly.
exactly. And so did you go? I can't remember. I don't think you were there for that gentleman in Battleground who had lost his wife and he blamed it on the demons.
I know she and I went to one guy up there in Battleground, and he was digging up his back porch.
Not sure if it might be the same guy. And then she and I and Christina went out there. He had asked me to come along because I'm a minister, I think. And this was like the first time I had ever gone with her to do something like this. And his wife had passed away not too long prior to that, I guess. She lived in the home. And anyway, so he looked like an old man. He was kind of hunched over, but he wasn't old. He was at the time maybe 50 something. I'm 52, so I think he was probably around 55, something like that.
Yeah.
Nice, beautiful house.
Nope, this was a different guy.
Okay. And so anyways, we did what we do. June does what she does, did what she did. And we walked around the house, and I mean, you could feel it. You know what that feeling is like. When that evil presence is there, it is there.
And it's strong.
Oh, and this was a very old demon, and very old. And so she took care of it, and what she calls the minions.
Yep, my onions.
Yes, it's your granddaughter that says onions, right?
She used to when she was
She used
little.
to. How old was she?
She was
not that it's
2
important,
and a
but it's so
half, 3.
cute. And she's how old now?
She's 8. She's
Oh
racing
my
motorcycles.
gosh. What? Okay, that's another story.
Right.
But yeah, so the onions, minions, and so, but she got rid of them, and I kid you not. Afterwards, she and I and my wife Christina, we were in the kitchen, and we just held hands, embraced, and I prayed, and it was like, like in the studio here, opening these curtains and the light, the light, the sun. The earth's sun, or not the earth, but sun coming through. It was just that different, and so much lighter. We walked through the entire house, and there was nothing, and the land, because it was outside too. It was everywhere, and
people forget
beautiful
that.
property.
Yeah, it's not just in a house; it's everywhere.
Yeah,
this land is old,
and it took him over. That's why he was hunched over and looked like an old man. And by the time we left, he walked us out, because when he first greeted us, I thought, oh, this poor old man. He had gray hair. I'm only 52, and I've got gray. It doesn't mean you're old. And if my kids are watching or listening, I'm not old. They keep saying, okay, old man. I'm like, stop it. I'm not old. But anyways, the transformation was absolutely unbelievable, and it's God, because this man was standing up straight, and he looked 40. I'm not kidding. I was like, and we talked about, my wife and I talked about it when we left, and said, did you see the transformation in this guy? He looked like 60 something, like 68, 70. And when we left, he looked like he was like 40 years old. I kid you not. It was unbelievable. And so, I mean, it was just amazing. But you've seen this before.
Oh, yeah.
So
we've gone to some crazy places.
If you could pick one other than the one you and I experienced, because that tops them all, in my opinion. I mean, who can say they saw Jesus and saw Satan? Well, who's ever seen Satan? I've never talked to anybody that has.
No, I had somebody go, and you're alive? And I'm like, we're having this discussion right now, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm a ghost.
Exactly. Chasing myself.
You've heard my team, Ghost and Girls, right? Well, I'm ghost and girl.
Hello.
I'm a ghost girl.
Woohoo.
Except for when Aaron comes along. I told you guys, you need to change it. Ghost girl and Aaron.
Yep.
And Aaron. So, well, we're going to take a short break. So think about what the question I just asked you of another time that stands out as one of the top, top second. We know the top first. And so when we come back, we'd love to hear that story. So stay with us, and we're going to hear more from Wendy Stanton Phillips. Don't go away.
You look so cute. Just
Well, afterwards we'll have
All right, welcome back. We're here with our special guest, Mindy Stanton Phillips. And Aaron asked, what was that question again right before break?
what is the second?
The second most.
Yeah, second most. Well, the first one was when we
with us.
Yeah, with
Right.
us. But what's the second top place? Well, not really place, but the second situation that you've been in.
Predicament.
Yeah, predicament.
Okay, yeah, because we did one in Washington as a group once, and that was just plain
Yes.
fun.
That was just fun. Yeah.
I had another one that I did last year with Heather that was crazy. But probably the next weirdest one was a family June and I did just before Ghost Conference 3-4 years ago.
Mm.
And they're out other side of town. And
In Seaside or at the
no,
conference?
no,
or?
doesn't just it was like the weekend before conference. So it was in March.
Okay.
And as I was driving to pick June up, because I'm the designated driver,
Right.
save her energy. Me, I handle
Right.
the minions. She does the big guys.
You're the Uber.
I'm the para Uber here.
Para Uber. I like
Yeah.
it.
So as I'm driving from my place to hers, the sky was green, and I'm like, well, I know
Ooh.
that this is not tornadoes.
Mm.
I go get her. I'm like, what do you think of our sky? She goes, oh, hell's waiting for us. And I'm like, yeah, no.
Oh my gosh.
So as we got there, it just got heavier and heavier. And you know me, when I'm deal with negatives, they come after me and I get migraines. So started already, took my migraine medication. I'm like, you're not going to mess with me today. So we got there and it's like we got out of the car and it was like somebody just punched you in the face.
Wow.
We just stood there and she's like, okay, let's go. We went in and it's like I said, we always pray.
Oh, yeah.
And then you got to do your own personal thing.
Of course.
You know, because it's each person for themselves after a certain point. And it's like, okay, God, I need you to open me up. I need to do my best to help June as well as these people. And we went in and it's like, there's black on the ceiling.
Was this a private residence?
Mm-hmm.
And what city was this?
The other side of town.
Here?
Yeah, the other side of town.
Oh, okay.
Out that way.
Gotcha.
And I'm looking around, you could just feel it. It wasn't even heavy. It was nasty. And it was a multi-family. It's like several family members lived there. And including a baby, down to a baby and a grandma.
Oh.
And a guy who would never meet us.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And so...
there is a reason for that.
Uh-huh. And so I walked over to an empty cage. I knew nothing. You know, June's the animal communicator, but for some weird reason, things like that will occur with me. And I walked over to a cage and I'm like, something was in here. And I'm like, you used to hold it like this, Lovey, and you'd pet it and it would bury its head here. And they're just looking at me with their mouths open. And I'm like, and it died today. And they're like, yeah, it was their bird, Lovey. And they came out that morning and its head was turned around backwards. Their cat came over and would just stand next to me. And their dog was just they were sketchy. They were just feeling this crap because these poor animals, they had multiples killed in strange ways. And so June and I went through the house and you could just see this black. You know, you could tell yourself, well, I think it's moving, but I'm not sure. It just was not normal. And so my first thought, logically speaking, what is it we always do? We don't go, oh, everything is paranormal.
Oh, yeah.
We live in Oregon.
Right.
The state of mold, you know, that's our flower. So I'm like, okay, maybe this is mold. Okay, fine. So we went outside and I'm like, went over to this fence and there was this set of trees, just dark. And minions will come through to me in the ugliest, strangest way. They look like potatoes with branch arms and they jump around. I mean, leave it to me to have cartoon characters.
Right.
You know, and so I just was doing my thing and June was doing her thing. And these things are screeching and jumping. And it's like, you know, you have a place to go and it's not here.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen how I'll do. It's like, you got to go. Hell's waiting for you. Just go. Yeah. And eventually they just start going away. And then I went and I stood on one part of this grass and June walked around and stood on the other part of this. And we said a prayer,
Mm.
and we ended it, at the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, cleanse this earth.
Mm.
And the people were standing there, and one of them was crying, and we went over, and they're like, there had been a pentagram burned into the ground where you guys are standing. I was on the bottom, and she was on the top of it.
Wow. Outside?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Burned?
Into the ground.
Wow.
There were people that were doing worships in the forest.
Wow.
And so we went through the house, did, what we usually do through the house. And the grandma, by this point in time, sitting there shaking and just crying. And I sat down and talked to her and rubbed her hand. And, we got her calmed down. And I looked at the ceiling, and it was less black.
Mm.
I'm like, okay, mold doesn't do that one.
No.
And I pointed it to June, and we looked in the kitchen, and it was definitely lessening.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to meet all the family members that were there. One would not come out, refused to.
Mm.
And by the time we were done, we left. June looked at me. She goes, we're going to have to come back. And I said, yep, less than a year. Sure enough, we got a phone call less than a year later. We need you to come back.
Wow.
They had yanked all the trees out and were building houses on this ground that had been having weekly worship rituals done out there.
Even after you guys came out?
Yeah, they decided to yank all that out and start building these big houses.
Who decided?
Whoever bought the land.
But who was doing, people were doing rituals after you guys came out?
As far as we know. We're not positive on that.
And they don't know who these people were that were doing rituals?
Nope.
Okay.
But they were like out there in the forest, so their area got taken away, but you know what that means.
Sure.
And so we went back. The house was heavy, not as bad as before, but it was more like on the side where the fence had been. And so we went over to one of these new houses that was being built, and you could just feel it.
Wow.
And so we had to walk through the house, each room, and bless it and pray and do our best for whoever was going to end up living in there.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we still were not able to meet that one member of the family. And it turned out that they had been in the military at one point in time and messed with certain things. And they were involved in very negative things, and they refused to meet us. And we're like, until they release this, you're going to have problems.
Because you two are light workers, and they didn't want to be around you at all.
I got him going into his room, and he looked at me, and I looked at him, and he bolted.
Wow.
And I'm like, we haven't heard any more. But then COVID hit, a few months later, or we may have been called back over there.
Wow.
So it was pretty interesting, to say the least. And I just felt bad for this whole family.
Isn't it? Have you ever noticed, first of all, demons don't just show up normally. They're normally called.
Exactly.
And it's called by people, either through ritual or Ouija boards. People draw pentagrams, burn whatever, however they do it, and then they, through some type of ritual, call them. People don't understand, even through Ouija boards, that you can, it's like, I've explained this before. Ouija boards aren't bad. I've never said that they're terrible. Don't ever use them. Just know how to do it.
Yeah.
You need to know how to open and close.
Exactly.
They have to be closed properly,
And don't ask stupid questions.
No.
Don't go into that, because lots of people want to tempt it.
Yeah.
I did it when I was 15.
Oh, yeah. I did it when I was young. I was, 17, I think? 16, 17? And I didn't close it. Yeah. Well, and certain companies make,
it's a toy.
And they make like pink ones to appeal to young girls. Well, is Johnny gonna ask me out Saturday night? It's like, you have to really appeal to young girls, so they can ask about young boys or whatever.
It was creepy when
seriously?
I did it. It told me stuff that I had absolutely no desire to have anything to do with.
Yeah.
Forgive me, Heather. I was not going to get married. I was not going to have kids. Period, point blank.
Oh, it told you that?
That was how I felt.
You felt you weren't going to do that.
I was not going to, not going to go there. And it told me.
You were 15.
It told me I was going to have more than one spouse, and I was going to have 4 children.
Really?
Number 4 is sitting right there.
All right.
And as for the exes, well, they're an ex for a reason.
Right. Well,
it's like, but it also did other crazy things, as in it physically manifested itself. Windows were thrown open,
Wow.
and I don't know if it was closed. To be honest, you have three
Yeah.
15-year-old morons sitting here
Well,
that don't
yeah.
know anything.
Of course. So chances are you didn't close it,
Yeah.
and you didn't close it properly.
And I'm
And
like,
that's the
not
problem
gonna-
that people have. They don't know how to close it. And if you don't know how to close it, or don't know to close it, it's like the way I've explained it before to people is, are you really going to go and open your front door
and just leave it open.
and leave it open? No, you're going to close it, and you not just close it, you're going to close it properly and lock
Yeah.
it. And the same thing with the Ouija board. You need to learn how to close it, and not just close it, but close it properly. And so along with that is, I did the same thing when I was younger, drinking beer and playing with the Ouija board. And I didn't close it. I didn't close it properly. I didn't close it at all. I didn't know.
Well,
I didn't know to. They don't say that.
We
They don't
went
tell
2
you that.
years ago and did an investigation out in Lafayette.
Yeah.
And one of the team members had gotten permission from the town, blah, blah, blah.
Nice.
Full moon, Friday the 13th.
Oh, jeez.
It was perfect.
That's awesome.
We're there with all this equipment and everything. So we pull up. Heather and I got there first. And there's a car, and it's like, okay, are these part of our people? I go walking over there, and there are 3 teenage girls in the car with a Ouija board. And they rolled the window down, and I'm like, please tell me you're not doing a Ouija board session. Well, yeah, we are.
The people in the car?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I get this, I seen you somewhere before. Okay, yeah, whatever. We're going to be doing an investigation. I'd really appreciate it if you wouldn't be doing that right now, and maybe if you could close it. And this one girl goes to literally and I'm like, no,
Not like that.
You need to say, thank you. We are ending the session. You've got to do it properly, or you're going to leave this thing open. And she's looking at me like I'd fallen out of a tree, and I'm like, we just appreciate that.
Right.
So we went and did our thing with the rest of the group we were with. 3 teenage girls decided, this is the coolest thing on the planet. We're going to follow you. Well, shortly after that, 3 early 20-something guys showed up with beer.
What? Are you serious?
Dead serious.
And this was how long ago?
2 years ago, Friday the 13th.
2 years ago?
September or October, I can't remember which, but the moon was huge. We didn't need flashlights. It was that big.
Wow.
These people are following us, and we had all the stuff out. And Heather had one of the apps open, and one of the other girls had one open too. I can't remember which one of them got alcohol and drunk. And next thing, one of these guys comes tripping up with booze in his hand. He was tanked.
Wow.
And we're all 3 trying not to laugh because we had just been told, this is going to happen. So we went over and we got him to calm down. Because when they started seeing the different equipment working, they actually chilled out. They're like, I can't believe this is happening. We'd ask about the witch, and we'd ask, about this or that, and the machines were all going off. One of the guys goes over and pushes it to see. And I'm saying, thinking, what do you think that's going to do? I think he thought there were wires. I'm not sure, but we checked everything beforehand, what's going to set each other off, and we had them. It was hilarious.
Wow.
But yeah, alcohol and drunk. We're like,
that's great.
Only in Lafayette on a Friday the 13th
That's hilarious.
can we have drunks with alcohol on them and teenagers Ouija boards.
Right.
So that was pretty funny.
Well, and next month is October, which is exciting for all of us that are paranormal investigators, right? And those of us that aren't, and those that aren't. But obviously, October is a fun month.
It's Halloween all year. What's wrong with you?
I know, but in October, and so Darrin, who is our brother and co-host, he's running for mayor for Halloween Town in St. Helens next Saturday. So go down and support him. Just not during the show. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
I'm only kidding. And so, I'd love to come. I'd love to go down and do the show from there. So we'll see what we can do. So we'll see what we can do. So
that would be fun.
Yeah, that would be awesome. But yeah, we've got a full month next month. Lots of exciting shows coming up.
It is that time of the year.
It's that time. I mean, it's our time of year. Oh my gosh. Kristen Gray, if you're listening, oh my gosh, or watching, I mean, Kristen is like the whole month or the whole year is like counting down to
I know.
it's counting down to Halloween.
I'll see
You
things
know,
and send them to her. Hey, you need
you
this.
know,
Hey, you need that.
I know, and some people like leave their Christmas lights on or up all year. I'm surprised she doesn't leave her Halloween stuff up all year round.
Well, they're always
Well,
working
I
on
don't
their
think.
house. I
Oh
mean,
my gosh, have you seen her house decorated? I mean, I've never been to her house, but I've seen the pictures that she posts.
yes.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. Well, first of all, I'm a huge Nightmare Before
Oh,
Christmas
yeah, she is
fan,
too.
and so I have a mug. Well, I have one in storage that I got to get out. It's in the garage at my parents' place, so I have got to dig it out because I bought it when I went to Disneyland in the month of October many years ago.
Mhm.
And so during the month of October, if you've ever been there, have you been to Disneyland before? Once? Okay. Have you been through in the month of October? Okay, if you're a Nightmare Before Christmas fan, you've got to go in the month of October because the whole month is Nightmare Before
Oh my
Christmas.
gosh.
And the haunted mansion
I was gonna say, what about
is
that?
it is Jack Skellington's house.
Oh my
I mean,
goodness.
everything is Nightmare Before Christmas there. So, oh my gosh, I gave my middle son Noah my jersey that I bought, which has 0 on the back, and it's actually the number 0, but it's got the dog 0 on the back, and it's got Jack Skellington on the front. It's a baseball jersey.
Oh.
It was my favorite, but
That's what
anyways,
we parents do.
I gave
we
it to
give them the
him.
shirts off our backs.
Yeah, it was too big for me, and it was perfect for him.
Yeah,
So
he's a little
I gave-
guy.
Yeah, Noah's little. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's 6'2", 6'3", tall guy and big guy, and so all muscle. We'll just say that. And so I'm there for you, Noah. But anyway, so I gave it to him, and so but those are the two things that I still kept and still had from that last time I went, because for a couple of years, 2-3 years, I think 3 years in a row we went back. But that one time we went during the month of October. So yeah,
We
I
always
love
have
it.
something up. We have this broom that's black and orange, kind of like almost like Heather's dress.
Mm.
It's always up, but
Oh,
you
yeah.
never know where it's going to be.
Really?
Well, for one point in time, Tim put it under his elk that he got.
Oh
So
no.
here's this, and he's like, he goes, "Your car's ready."
Oh gosh, I had a feeling that was coming
Yeah.
somewhere at some point in the
So
story.
it's elsewhere now, and we have this witch on a broom
Mhm.
sitting in some upstairs kind of windows. So we always have something out.
Oh yeah, that's so cool. I love Halloween, but it's not the way it used to be. Like when I grew up as a kid in the 70s, in our neighborhood, people had haunted houses in their house. So
Right?
you could actually go through the neighborhood, and my parents didn't care. We'd go in people's houses. We didn't even know them. Yeah, we'd actually go in their house, go through their little haunted house, go in through the front door. I almost said door. In the front door. I'm not from New York over here. No, I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. So we talk like that. But we go through the front door, come out the back door. And they'd usher you through and stuff, and it was scary at the time. Not now. You can't even go to the door nowadays. You don't know what's going to happen. You're finding razor blades and
they were doing that
all kinds of
when
stuff.
we were kids. My parents always went, but then I was raised in California. I know I'm not supposed to say that out loud, but I was raised down
Nothing
there.
wrong with California. Come on.
My husband refuses to even utter the word. Kansas boy. He's afraid. I'm
Really?
like, what's wrong with you? So they used to check it, and I worked at a hospital when I lived in Walla Walla, and they always would let people bring the kids candy, and they put it out on the X-ray table, and they'd check it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was back in the 80s.
Yeah. Okay.
84, 85.
Yeah. Even through the 80s, even through the late 80s, it was the same way. You could go to people's doors, everything was fine. I mean, you always had issues with razor blades and stuff like that. That'll never go away. But it was just safer back then. Now, the last few years, I don't know, even 5 years or so, people just weren't coming to the door anymore.
No.
People were taking kids to the mall.
Exactly. And that started when she was little. Yeah.
Yeah.
What,
a couple of years ago?
Yeah. She went when she was 2. I dressed her up as a little angel because I figured, well, we're in the
she's
terrible
an angel.
She was the cutest little angel you ever saw.
But I mean, my kids didn't get to experience what we experienced as kids. They just didn't.
I got to take
and you grew up where?
Here. Born and
Here?
raised here, yeah.
Was it like that here? I mean, did you go door to door and you had the neighborhoods
Back
where
in the day, yeah, I'd go door to door, but I
She
didn't
got
do
to
a
do it a
whole lot
little
of.
bit.
I didn't do a whole lot of Halloween stuff, and
Uh.
I really to this day I really don't.
Oh, wait,
I mean,
what?
granted,
Yes, you do. I've seen your house
not
decorated for Halloween.
No, you haven't.
What do you mean? You
Okay,
guys
well, all
decorate
right.
for Halloween.
Let
I
me
know your
let
wife.
me take that back. 1 year we did because I was okay, fine, because I always get
I
hounded
live
about
for
See,
it.
it.
now the truth comes out.
Yeah, I live for
But I've
that
only done it
stuff.
once. I haven't done it since.
What is
How long ago
wrong
was
with
that
you?
though? It was
been
only like
about
a couple years ago.
3-4 years
We're
ago.
gonna have to. We got to get him therapy.
I know.
See, for me though, it's more at the end of the year. It's a Christmas.
Welcome to Dr. Aaron and Dr. Wendy.
We will
So,
fix
yeah.
what's wrong with you.
We will fix
Dude,
you.
This is the
You will be
holiday.
fixed for
talk
Halloween.
that
to
you
a wife.
can-
She'll join you.
Yes, this is the
And
one
Dr.
you can
Heidi.
enjoy and not have to expect gifts.
That's
It's a
right.
fun time that you can just really embrace it, and people enjoy what you're doing, and you're enjoying what they're doing, and there's
Exactly.
nothing on the other end of it. Well, this particular day, we have to give you a present.
Yeah, exactly.
You
And
know?
Halloween is just fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
It
just
is.
fun.
I mean, come
And
on,
it's
look what we
fun.
do.
Even as
just-
adults dressing up. I mean, what other holiday do adults
Wait, I always dress
dress
like
up?
this.
But you look great though. But I'm talking like in a costume.
I know. I want
See,
to do that.
And that's what we're gonna do for our last show for this month. We're
Shit.
dressing up, dude.
Shit, you're
I'm
telling
telling
me
you.
now.
I'm
You got a
jealous.
month. What do you mean
Come
telling you now?
on.
You have a month. How much time do you need?
I'm wearing it right now. That's it.
No, you're not. We're wearing costumes. So I know we're going to be taking a break here in a few minutes. But before that, you have
I'll
a
work
month.
on it.
You have a month.
I'll work on it.
So I know I have an idea of what I want to do, and I'm not going to reveal it now. I mean, I'll tell you beforehand, but yeah,
I'd be
I have
the
an
Catwoman.
idea. What?
I'd be the Catwoman.
Oh, Catwoman. I thought you were talking about me being Catwoman. Won't that be interesting, right?
Great, I love
Yeah.
it. Please do
Okay,
it.
well, I did dress as a woman one time. Actually, I was a kid. I was like 12 years old. Me and my next door neighbor, we decided to dress as girls. Borrowed one of his sister's dresses, did makeup and everything.
Oh no.
My own uncle had no clue who I was. I'm serious. We had a Halloween party at home. My own uncle had no clue. Asked my mom, well, who's the girl? And she goes, that's your nephew. I'm like, how do you not know me? I didn't even have a wig on. I had makeup and a dress. Hello. I was 12.
You must have pulled it off quite well.
I have a picture. I'll bring it.
Oh yeah, you
I've got to bring it. It's at my sister's in a photo album. So I got to hunt it down. I'll have to X him out of it or get him. I can't show him obviously, but because I won't have permission. But anyways, yeah, I'll bring it.
Now
So,
we know
yeah.
the dark side of Aaron.
The dark side of me in a dress. That's right. I started early. So
It's all good.
All right. We'll get back to this topic right after.
no, we
Maybe.
won't.
Yes,
Not
It,
we
it
will.
happens every time.
Yeah. We'll be right back with Wendy Stanton Phillips and Halloween. Coming right back. Welcome back to Paranormal Crossings Into the Light with our wonderful guest, Wendy Stanton Phillips, my sister.
Yo, yo.
That's right. So we were talking about all kinds of great things.
You in a
when
dress.
Okay, stop it. I should
All right.
never have brought that up. I was 12 years old.
Back to a more serious topic, though.
All right.
We got to get the
Yes.
conversation with
But we were talking about Halloween and how excited we are for Halloween and how you're going to decorate. And
Not.
and you are going to go see Dr. Aaron and Dr. Wendy
And we
and
will
your Dr.
fix what's
wife,
wrong
Heidi.
with you.
And so, yes, but we'll get you excited about it. And we're excited about Darrin running for mayor in Halloween Town in St. Helens
Yeah.
next Saturday. And so, which will be, October.
October.
Can you believe that? How'd
Halloween.
that happen?
I don't know. But then after that is Christmas.
Yeah, you forgot Thanksgiving.
Wow. Well, yeah, Thanksgiving, but
Who
meh,
decorates for Thanksgiving?
Me.
nobody decorates for what?
What?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Who decorate for Thanksgiving? What do you,
You know those-
decorate?
What are the
For
colors?
fall?
What are the colors? For
Brown.
Halloween?
Brown. Oh, for Halloween.
Brown, orange, gold,
Yeah, yeah.
black.
So you just keep your decorations
Yeah.
up. You just don't take them down. All right. You're like, happy Hallow Thanksgiving.
Halloween.
Halloween. Yes, Halloween
Yes.
thy name. No,
You know, last year my casket was still standing up on Thanksgiving.
Casket.
Yes, I have a casket that has an open closed door.
Well, don't they all?
This one opens and
How
automatically.
do you get in? Or
No,
you
there's
don't
somebody
get
already
but
in there.
Somebody put you in there.
He's already in there.
He's already he.
Yeah.
Okay. Who?
One of my exes.
Oh, okay.
You didn't
All
see
right.
that coming?
No, I didn't actually. No. All right. So moving along. So there was something else that happened to you and I. 2018. We were both invited to be on Ghost Adventures.
Mhm.
And for all you haters, too bad, because this was actually a great experience for both of us.
Getting to meet these people and
Yes.
see who they actually are without the cameras or with the cameras.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
what you see on TV
It's not what
with
you
Zach
get.
Bagans, I will tell you now, that is not how he is personally.
He is a really nice person.
He is. And for me, and I'll just tell you real quick, I was attacked by a demon at the Norblad Hotel, which
Yep, I remember
you can
that.
see.
We were all there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah, and you can actually see that episode if you even go to YouTube. I don't care how you do it, or if you have cable, and you can look up
The whole series should be there.
Yeah, it's Graveyard of the Pacific, and so mine was the Norblad Hotel, and yours was
North Head Lighthouse.
North Head Lighthouse. And so with me, I was attacked by a demon, and with him knowing that, we don't need to go into how they found out about it, other than we received a phone call, and the person that called said that he had heard that I had some activity that happened during a weekend
Retreat.
I guess. It was an investigation that we
Yep.
did, and he brought up
was busy.
one of the hotels, and I said, well, you don't really want to hear about that because nothing really happened that much at the first hotel. I said, you want to hear about the Norblad?
Yeah.
And he said, what's the Norblad? And I said, well,
Nor
it's
bad.
and I'm not going to say anything bad about the hotel. The
No,
hotel's
they're
great.
Yeah.
But what happened to me wasn't great, because we went down to the basement, and I asked for this because I asked to the guy that was actually hosting this. He actually worked for the hotel, the first hotel, which is the Commodore.
Yeah.
This is all in Astoria, Oregon. And Jeff Davis, great friend, like a brother.
He is awesome.
He
Such
put
a
this
doll.
whole thing
Yep.
together for us all. And so there's a bunch of us involved. And we went down for a weekend, at our own expense. And we had such a great time.
It was wonderful. Yeah.
It was. And so my wife and I decided to stay at the Commodore along with a couple of other people. Others stayed elsewhere. But
we were
wanted to
down the
stay.
road. We needed a hot tub, okay?
Right. And so we decided to stay there, and it just happened to be haunted in our room. And we had to tell the spirits, can you please leave?
Yep, it was
Because
busy when we
they
got
were just
there. Yep.
staring at us.
Yep.
Literally in our room, and it felt heavy, and we are like, we need some privacy. This is kind of invading.
Creepy.
Yeah, you don't want
Please
to be in a
go.
room and have spirits just staring at you at the end of your bed.
They
you
do
know?
that really well unless you.
And
Yeah.
but they respected us.
Yeah.
And especially when the train horn, the train went by, and as soon as the horn went off from the train, then that's when they all just stood there. They just appeared.
They're like,
And so it had something to do with the train
yeah.
in the town. So, anyways, moving forward, we went to the north. I asked the guy who was hosting it down at the Commodore. I said, is there any other places that's haunted that you can get us into while we're here? Oh, well, yes, we have a sister hotel just up the street called the Norblad. And I said, really? And he said, I know I can probably get you in there. And I said, fantastic. So he talked to the people at the Norblad, the manager, whoever, and they said, yes, bring him up. So I talked to Jeff, ran it by him because it was his event.
Yep.
And he said, absolutely. Let
Let's
me run
do
it by
this.
everybody. And
Yeah.
everybody said, let's do it.
Yep.
Well, then we get there.
Good job,
I know.
Aaron.
First of all, being a minister, demons hate me, and so I'm attacked. That's just how it is. And this one time, I had my guard down and did not protect myself first. The first and last time, I can't tell you why. Well, I can, but I'm not going to mention it on air. I'll tell you later, unless I've told you before. But anyways, for protection from a couple of people that were present. I'm not going to mention it on air, but I did not protect myself. And so immediately when I got down there, I have a spinal disease called ankylosing spondylitis. So my spine is fusing from my lumbar up. And so now, being 3 years later, it's more advanced, so way more advanced. So anyway, with that said, the demon immediately attacked my spine. In the way I've explained it to it, and I explained it to Zach Bagans on Ghost Adventures, it felt like a giant hand reached in and just grabbed my spine and started squeezing. And I'll never forget that feeling. First of all, it makes you nauseous, and the pain is unreal, unbelievable. But I endured it for an hour. And while I was down there, finally I couldn't take it anymore. And I quietly went over to my wife. I said, look, I'm being attacked. I need to step outside because I didn't want to ask June for help because she was busy. She was there, you were there, and a bunch of people were there. And you guys were all off doing your own thing. And I tried to separate myself because I didn't want it to jump to anybody else. Because I'm thinking of other people here. I'm being attacked. I'm thinking, I don't want it to jump to anybody else. Okay, well, because I love everyone, and that's just me. So I told my wife what was going on. I said, I need to step outside and I need to take care of this. She wanted to go with me, and I said, no, I don't want it to attack you. So you stay here. I'll be back in a few minutes when I'm done. So, because she also has health issues, and when you're vulnerable like that, it'll jump to the other person, especially with what I was about to do. So I went outside, I took care of it, I thought, and I heard it scream, which I've heard before. And
They
you know
do
what
not
that
like
sound?
it.
No, they screech. It's more like a screech than a scream.
Yeah.
And so, anyways,
it's ear piercing, deafening.
It was in my right ear, and I'm standing here on this corner, just outside the Norblad. If anybody's ever been there, and I can't remember the streets that it was on, but anyways, I'm on top of the hill. If you've been to Astoria, it's hilly, and so I'm standing on top of the hill. It's late at night, and but nobody's around, like nobody. And I looked when I heard that screech. I'm looking around to see if. Is it a person? Is it a drunk person? Because it was a Saturday night. The first one at the Commodore was a Friday. The next night, Saturday. So I'm looking. Is this a drunk person? Nobody was around, and I knew I've heard that screech
time
before.
of night.
So anyway, I thought I got rid of it. I didn't feel it anymore. The pain subsided just like that. I can't even snap anymore like I used to. I'm telling you, I don't know. But anyway, so there you go. So do it again, just like that. Yes, the pain was gone. So I relaxed. I went back in. I told my wife, look, it's gone. I said, but I am just wiped out. You know what it's like.
Yeah.
When you do removals or anything like that, again, I'm not an exorcist, but I learned June has really taught me a lot. And so I learned how to get rid of negatives. If I need help, I'll ask for help. So I will go to you and June for help because you guys are my partners in that realm, in that, in that. So anyway, but I didn't need help. So I went back in, told my wife, I got to get out of here. I told her I did it, got rid of it, done. I thought. So we left, and so we ended up going back home, and things just got bad.
Yeah.
It's like one thing after another, negative. Uh, Anything and everything that could happen happened, and it was terrible. I couldn't stand it. And then I get the call from Ghost Adventures, and I said, "Well, you don't want to hear about the Commodore. You want to hear about the Norblad. This is what happened." So that's why we ended up being on Ghost Adventures for us for the
Mhm.
Norblad. So let's talk about you and what happened with you and how that came about.
I got a call. They asked if I wanted to go and do the North Head Lighthouse. And, you know,
How'd you hear about, or how'd they hear about the North Head Lighthouse?
I'm
How did that come about?
I honestly don't know.
Because you hadn't been there before.
No.
Okay. But they
Um,
knew about you. They heard about your abilities.
Yeah,
Okay.
I guess from several different.
Which are,
I'm
tell
a
us about your.
sensitive. I'm an
Okay.
empath.
Okay.
Um,
Which is, explain. So you're a psychic.
yeah, but mine is so much different. I don't think they're any two alike. You
Okay.
know, it's like Heather's an empath.
Mhm.
You know, she's luckily been able to figure out how to shut it out and down.
Mhm.
I usually choose not to.
Okay.
Um, that way, if I can help somebody, I will.
So you can
You
see
have the
people that have
emotions.
passed.
I can do that too.
Yeah, and so you can do that, but you can also you feel other people's
Yeah.
emotions.
Oh,
Yeah, because
yeah.
I'm an empath also,
Yep.
and I can see
And
spirits
yep.
and communicate with them.
And
But
you feel their pains and different things. And I used to be able to remove pain, but I didn't do it the correct way. I would take it onto myself.
Okay, yeah,
So
no,
yeah, don't need that help.
no, no, no.
So and then just seeing things. When they want me to, I will. If they don't want me to, I won't. And that's just how it works for me.
Okay,
So they heard through whatever different channels. Probably
right.
Jeff is one of them. You know,
Jeff Davis.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Bless his heart, he was there the day that I filmed, which was pretty much all day.
That's awesome.
It was, and the weather was hideous. I mean, you couldn't
Yeah.
have asked for worse, better weather for something like that.
Can we show that picture, Andrew, of the lighthouse? Thank you, buddy.
It's beautiful.
Not that one. The one of the lighthouse. Sorry. Go ahead. Keep talking.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So the wind was just
That's the one.
unbelievable. I'd left my go bag at home.
And it's called North
Head.
Lighthouse. And that's in Washington?
Yes, it's
Where?
on the Long Beach Peninsula.
Okay, Long
Yeah.
Beach Peninsula.
Yeah, there's like 3 lighthouses
Mm.
throughout there, I think, and
Okay.
it's the middle one.
Mm.
So, because there's also a Cape Disappointment
Yes.
lighthouse.
So
too.
what happened when you got there? Like, what were you feeling once you got there? I'm sorry. If you have questions, jump in anytime.
No.
I know I have a tendency because we
You're-
go so far back that I'm
Yeah.
just like,
He's
Yeah.
just sitting here going,
I'd call it verbal vomit, but it's really
I-
not.
I-
It's
I sit here, I'm thinking, he's been gone a month. Let him run.
all right. I'm
there
sorry.
you go.
No,
Well, I had
I
lost.
want you to ask questions though.
I had
Well,
lost a mentor 2 days before.
That's right. I'm so sorry.
My oldest son's grandmother.
Yeah.
Just, I love this
forgot
woman.
about that,
Yeah, she
yeah.
was great. I knew it was coming. We talked about it that very day with our youngest son and his girlfriend. We were at dinner, and I said, "It's coming."
Mm.
And Eric called me that night. I saw the phone and I knew.
Mm.
And she and I, were in the 80s when the paranormal world wasn't as accepted as it is.
Right.
And nobody believed her. She would see her mother in law. So we had this bond, and she held all my babies. She was just the most amazing woman.
Mm.
And so when I went on Monday, I'm like, okay, this is something Donna would have loved. She would have.
Donna?
Yes,
Mhm.
she would have just been over the moon stoked. I said, okay, Mom, you're coming with me. I'm taking you. You're going on this road trip with me. And I could feel her sitting in the passenger seat. And I'm like, you're just going to go through this with me, And so I'm like, God, I need you to help me with this. I need to open up. If I'm supposed to do this, please help me do this.
Oh yeah.
So because that was one of the things I said, I'm not going to do this if I can't do it correctly. I'm not going
yeah.
to fake it. Just if nothing happens, I'm like, you'll have to get somebody else to do it. So I got there and it was raining and windy, and I was so frustrated because I looked like,
Windy.
yeah,
It was windy for Wendy.
yes, it was. I'm standing in this tiny little overhang waiting for the producer to get there, and my hair's going all over the place. And
Who was the producer?
Corey Lyons,
It was Corey.
he
Okay,
was,
he was great,
I
wasn't
loved
he?
him. He was
Such a great
great.
guy.
Yeah, a
Anyway, yeah.
great heart, you know. And so I spent, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours with this guy.
Right.
And we filmed and we went up and down the hill. I got my exercise that day. And I remember it's like all of a sudden things started happening that I was not expecting. We don't do history. I know some people go, oh, but then how do you know what you're dealing with? No, I don't want to know. I don't want it clouded because, well, you know, this happened there and this and this, and it messes your judgment up. So June and I go in cold. I don't look it up. I told my husband, I don't want to know anything. If you decide to check anything, I don't want to know.
Right.
And so I had sensed Native Americans, and I knew nothing about the history over there. I still don't know a lot about the history. What little I've learned has been from Jeff Davis and from what I got from Zach and Corey after the fact.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was feeling that, and what it was is, you know, it felt like one of those times that they either had a ritual that they were doing where, you know, sometimes they sacrificed somebody or somebody had gotten in trouble or something along, and it was a trip down this hill towards the water. I'm like, yeah, this is not feeling great. It wasn't a negative entity type thing. It was just a very negative experience, I guess, but there were no entities attached to it per se.
Right.
You know, and so we went down through all of that, and I went over and I stood by the fence and I looked down, and these things are on the cutting room floor. Yeah, the good stuff to me is on the cutting room floor.
That's what happened to Christina.
Yeah.
Her whole interview was gone.
Well, see, and what
she's like, oh, they just cared about you. It's not that. It's
they have 42 minutes.
Exactly.
And like in my case, to shove 4 or 5 hours of footage into it.
Yeah.
You know, but the thing is, they showed their B team, which are like the stand-in, the actors and such. They showed the people crawling out of the water, but they didn't tell you why. Because I was standing there next to Corey, and he goes, "Are you okay? You just turned white." And I'm like, what I was seeing were people coming, trying to climb out of the water and climb on rocks just to save themselves. And I'm just standing there. I was like, oh my God. And he goes, you know what they call this? I'm like, no. He goes, that's Dead Man's Cove. Okay. That's understandable. He goes, did they make it? And I'm like, nah, they don't look too much like they did to me. You know, I'm just standing there holding with a death grip on the fence. I'm like, that was just horrible. And then I got calmed down, and we went over, and I looked at him. I said, she didn't kill herself. And he's like, okay, what do you mean? I said, the wind blew her over, because I saw flip up feet go. And I'm like, down there. And he's like, well, this is where they found her. Her dog was running around, apparently leash attached or something like this. You know, those are the things I saw. Well, they set it up at the end of the episode. It showed the word accident, but they didn't tell you why. And I'm sitting there going, no, you know. And when we went in, the first thing that happened is I almost got sick immediately inside the door. The EMS were just making my head blow up, and I almost went down. Yeah. And I'm standing there. I mean, I looked back and felt stupid right afterwards. And I'm like, my head's hurting. And I looked at the ranger. I said, is there like a major junction box in here? Hello? It's a lighthouse. They're not running it off of candles anymore. So he opens this door, and here's this ginormous. Okay, that makes sense. So I figure as I'm going up the stairs, it's going to get better. It got worse. I'm getting away from where the EMFs should have just stayed. And I finally had to sit down. Of course, they did not cut that out of the episode. Thank you very much forever and a day for that, because I was about ready to go down. I was getting sick. And I don't usually react that way.
Yeah.
So I finally got up, and Corey's like, are you going to be okay? Yep, we're going to go up, doing our thing. It was between that and the husband was following us. And he was upstairs, and he was very angry because he'd been there for so long. He listened to the garbage. She killed herself. He killed her, you know?
Yeah.
And so he's got himself stuck. And he knew I could maybe help him. Well, what can you do? You're there to do a job for some people who are there doing a job.
Right.
How do you help him understand this? You know?
Did you wait until you were off camera, or
No. We
I
went
don't
down, we
recall.
finished in there,
Okay.
which, Corey sent me the stills, and that's where I'm looking out at the lighthouse, out at
Yeah.
the water, which all of a sudden it just got all beautiful on us and everything. I'm like, well, this is just lovely, So we went down to do the interview with Zach, and they had put plastic in the windows so that there'd be no reflections, because in that house it goes straight through window wise. So it was pretty interesting. Here it is 3 p.m, and it's pitch black in that room,
Yeah.
And so he was telling me a few different things, and we were just discussing things back and forth. And it wasn't until I saw the episode that I realized I was doing this. And I didn't even really realize it, because he was standing there, the husband, with his hand on my shoulder. And I'm trying to
get your attention.
And I'm trying to let him know. I just sit there with my eyes closed. Zach's like, are you okay? Because Jeff had warned him beforehand that I get migraines. And our dear Jeff had stayed there because he was concerned after me losing Donna and everything. So he stayed there, as moral support. And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine.
Jeff Davis.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't want to tell him, yeah, here's what's going on.
Right.
But I'm sitting there, I'm telling him, come on, I can't do this for you right now.
Right.
I can't help you. I'm sorry.
Did you say something to him telepathically?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And all I could hear is, go. I want to go.
Which is hard when you're doing an interview.
Yeah. And so.
But you want to help him at the same time.
Exactly.
It's like, what do you do?
And I promised him, I said, I will come back. I will do this. I said, I just can't right now because they have a job to do. And that didn't make him happy.
Oh, I'm sure.
And so after we were done, we were heading out the door. Cameras are off.
Yeah.
We both got shoved out the door. Both Zach and I got shoved out the door.
Was that on camera?
They caught the tail end of it.
They cut it.
Yeah.
Okay.
They caught the very tail end of it. We're outside talking, and he's like, what the heck, happened? Well, he'd stopped me from landing on the ground.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it was him.
Wow.
So he wasn't demonic. He wasn't your atypical negative entity. He was an upset, frustrated, angry individual that was done. He didn't want to be there anymore.
Yeah.
He didn't want to be paraded around.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, come see the house where, he was sick of it. And it took me almost a year to get back. It took me 11 months. It was the next year when we were heading to the Ghost Conference that I finally got to go back, and Heather was standing there with me. And you feel them go. You've done it. You just never get to see it. I got to see just a little bit that day.
Wow.
And it was the coolest thing. I told him, I said, you could always go. You have kept yourself here. He was afraid. She didn't want to see him.
Oh my gosh.
And she'd been waiting for him.
Sad.
I said, she knows.
For how long? I mean, we're talking 1800s, wasn't it?
Yeah. I had
Wow.
well over 100 years. And I'm like, you didn't do it. Wow. It was an accident. You weren't even there.
So I'm sorry to interrupt. We have like 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So
we got it handled.
You got it. So
yeah.
So were you able to go back and help him?
Yeah, we got him. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is such a touching story,
and
to have
peaceful.
him waiting that long, thinking that he thought she didn't want to see him.
No, she did. Yep. And I got to see this nice little bright light and the two of them embracing, and it was gone.
So now I've got to go home and maybe not today, but I've got to go watch all these. I'm not watching Norblack because I've seen it recently because it popped up. I had people message me saying, oh my gosh, I just saw your episode.
I always get those too. Hey, you're on television.
I know. Okay. And somebody, I can't remember who it was. I think it was my ex-wife actually, sent me a text with a picture of me on
I've gotten those too,
on Ghost Adventure saying, oh my gosh, you were just on TV. I just saw it again. And so they're doing replays, which is awesome. But yeah.
I heard my voice. I'm sitting there typing away at work and I'm like, oh
right?
Man, that's me. Tim walks in the room. He goes, oh, look who's on television. I'm like, go stop.
But yeah. Do you have anything else you'd like to
No, you
ask,
pretty much ran.
I know. I took the whole show. Next week you can stay home if you like, and I'll just. I'm just kidding. No.
It's always good to almost hear you.
Right.
Almost.
Almost. Yes.
Yeah. No, it's just been so long since I've seen you in
Yep.
person. We've
I
talked, but we just
know.
haven't seen each other. And
Last thing we did
actually,
together was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That was
and
fun, though.
This has been a blessing, honestly. First, for me to be here.
Amen.
And second, to be able to see you again, and obviously to see you. It's been a month,
And
we
it's been
just
however
talked.
long for Boo.
I haven't seen you in what, a couple of years? Well, since we went up to Washington, hasn't it been? Or we met at Wall Street Pizza in Gresham was probably the
Yeah.
last time, wasn't it?
I can't even remember.
I don't know. It's been a long time. Let's just say that. So, those of you who can't see, this is Heather, who's not on not on camera.
She's my beautiful daughter.
Yeah, she is. And so, but one day maybe I can talk you into coming on the show again with your mom, of course. So
I'll protect you.
yes, and we'll have Christina.
Oh, that would be a
come
blast.
on.
I miss
And,
my sis.
I know.
Miss
she
you.
wasn't feeling well today, so she wasn't able to make it. So, but one of these days,
Yeah.
we'll have her come on and be a guest host. And so, but anyway, so I know we've got to wrap it up, but it's been such a pleasure having you
Heck
on,
yeah,
and
anytime.
you're more than welcome to come back. And maybe we'll do an investigation prior to you coming back on. What do you think?
Ooh,
We'll
Let's
all
go do something.
maybe this next month, we can squeeze something in.
I'm game.
All right.
Heck
Well,
yeah.
you have been watching
Paranormal Crossings into the light.
the light. I've seen the light. So thank you all
Absolutely.
for being with us. Have a safe week, and we will see you again, or you'll see us again next Saturday for
Some
Paranormal
form
Crossings.
of us next week.
Some form of us, yes.
Wait, let's be careful
well-
with forms, okay?
Well, yeah. Yes, that's true.
I don't want to come searching for you.
All right. Well, you won't. You'll see me. So, anyways, thanks for joining us. We will see you again, and you'll see us again next Saturday. Have a safe week, everybody. Be safe.
Woohoo.
Take care.